Today I'm going to go through how to use the band to assist you with your planche progress. I've been using a band for some time, teaching people how to get their initial tuck planche. So I first do like protraction holds, scapular push-ups, planche slide, but I also use the bands to assist into getting people to get that first lift off, to get that feel of lifting the toes or the knees up off the floor and getting into that tight tuck planche position. But until recently, I only ever used the band in that initial stages when you're learning the tuck planche. And then as soon as people were strong enough to hold the tuck planche without a band, I never used the bands again. But then recently, working towards the full planche, I've found that it's very useful to play around with the band, and I use the band for assistance in some of the advanced movements as well. So today I'm going to cover two things. I'm going to show how I use the band on those initial beginner positions to get the tuck planche, and then how I've started to use the band in the more advanced positions. When setting this up, I like to use the band around the ring so I can adjust the height up and down. We can do the planche on the floor, or we could use P-bars. So the main things we can adjust when using the band is the attachment point, so the height, our position underneath the attachment point, so whether we're in front of it, behind it, or directly underneath, the thickness of the band, and whether we have the band around our ankles or around our hips. Here at Aspen we have the red thin ones, got the black one, the purple one, and the green. I recommend you only use the real skinny one or the black one. So I'd only use those two. If you need more than that, I'd definitely just work on protraction holds and just basically working on that scapular protraction strength and build up their conditioning until you can get away with just using a black or a red band. Now, when I'm learning things like the tuck planche position, the initial position when we're quite rounded in that ball-like position, I much prefer to have the band around the hips because the control wants to be pulling into the ball and have that like seesaw effect between the shoulders and the hips. If it goes onto the ankles, it tends to pull us apart. So I wouldn't really use the ankle position unless you really need to. It can work for people that just want to experience that lift-off position but don't quite have the strength yet. I'd only use the band as part of your training. I'd do the rest of the work on the protraction holds, planche slides, pulling up to protracted position from that top of the dip hold position, and with the main goal of decreasing the assistance as much as you can and get to the point where you can hold the tuck planche for about 5 to 10 seconds with no assistance. Now, something I've played with a lot more in the last few weeks and months working towards the full planche is going to more advanced positions using the band assist. Now, if we increase the assistance and how we use maybe a thicker band or have it a little bit higher, we can play around with opening up from a tuck planche into our frog position, advanced tuck, straddle position, and even going towards the full planche. Now, it's probably not the best training techniques in terms of the time under tension in the position, but it's probably a good way of playing with positions and experience what the path is as you advance out and take the legs further and further away from you. And obviously then you could start to play around with specific positions and just hold them for a longer duration. So here I'm showing the straddle planche position with band assistance around the hips and doing a longer hold in that position. Now, working directly towards full planche position, I've been playing with both hip assistance and ankle assistance. And what I'm finding is the ankle position is working much better for me. So to show this, I set up the band yesterday at 2 different heights, and I had the band either at my ankle and at my hips and try to get into the full planche position. So when I used the band around the hip, it felt like I was just collapsing on top of the band. Or if I increased the assistance, that it was hiking my hips up, like towards the press handstand. I'm so used to doing the press handstand, I don't want to encourage my hips to go up. I want to try and encourage my hips to go down, if anything, and lift the feet up. So I'm finding I can get in a much better position if I have the band around the ankles and lift myself up. You can see the movements are more controlled, and I'm getting better time under tension with the band around my ankles. Now here's a direct comparison between a band assist rep and a non-band assist rep. Now for my full planche conditioning, I'm still currently doing mainly planche leans, and I'm getting about a 1 to 2 second hold when I do go a full like 1 rep max attempt. I'll leave a few videos at the end just showing my current progress towards the full planche. Let me know down in the comments if you've had any experience using the band with your planche training or if you have any questions on it. Thumbs up and subscribe will be appreciated, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.